we're going to learn about AL at the end of words. So far, we've learned 3 sounds for A: the short sound of A, the long sound of A, and the broad A sound of ah. In these words that end in AL, A is going to have its short sound: pal, gal, the name Sal, Al, Hal, the word canal, and in this video, any underlined vowel is going to have its long sound: decal. Most of the time, words ending in AL have a muffled sound, where it won't sound like a clear owl, but will have a muffled schwa sound of ul, like in metal, metal, animal, mammal, signal, dental. OY says oi, loyal, royal. OR says or, portal, floral, normal, moral. You could see that in all these words, rather than a clear owl sound, we have a muffled ul sound. Here are some more words with the muffled sound. ER and UR both say verbal, plural, formal. In all these words with the underlined vowel, the vowel is going to have its long sound: oval, vile, vital, dial, opal, rival, fatal, vocal, global, total, local. ER says funeral. These lists of words are much longer than the ones on the first slide because AL uses this muffled sound way more often than the clear, short owl sound at the end of a word. Now, what if you have another vowel before the A? Well, if there's a vowel team, then it does not have to use the muffled sound. For example, here we have EA together, which say E in this word, in the word team. Here we have EA, and they also have the long E sound, which is the most common sound of EA. And we have real, deal, heal, seal, meal. OA says O, coal, and again, coal. In all of these words, there are 2 vowels together, so the AL does not have a muffled ul sound. Now, the AL at the end of a word having a muffled sound refers to the end of a root word. You can add suffixes and it keeps the muffled sound. For example, in these words, we're adding the suffix ly. So we have legally, locally, finally, totally. QU says qu, equally. EA says E in this word, ideally. The rest of this lesson is optional because it might be confusing for younger students. Besides ly, you can add other suffixes to the end of a root word that ends in AL. For example, this suffix is ism. Sometimes S says Z, and this is an example. So right here we have our root of vandal, and then we can just add ism. So even though the AL doesn't come at the end of the word, it comes at the end of the root before we've added the prefix. So it keeps the muffled sound. Vandalism, capitalism. Here's the suffix shun, which we have covered in a previous video. It is one of the most important suffixes. In these words with underlined vowels, we are going to have the long sound. The non-underlined vowels will have their short sound. So nationalism, nationalism, fictional, fictional, emotional, emotional. You can see that learning to recognize one or more suffixes added to the end of a root word makes it very easy to read long words because most longer words will have several suffixes or prefixes in them. Here are some more. Remember that ER says G in this word has this soft J sound because of the E. Generational. Generational. Functional. Functional. IR says Directional. Directional. Fractional. Fractional. Conversational. Conversational. Educational. Educational. Optional. Optional. Again, most of the time when you see a long word in English, as long as it's not a scientific term, you will see that there are several suffixes added to the end of a root word, or perhaps even suffixes at the end plus prefixes at the beginning. If you can learn to recognize these, then reading long words becomes much easier. Now, if we have another vowel before the A and the L at the end of a root, then we have a vowel team, and so the AL will not have a muffled sound. For example, this root right here is real, with the EA saying E. So we have the root real, and we add our suffix ism. Realism. Idealism. If you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We're going to learn about the third sound of U. Now, the previous sounds of U we have covered are the short U, which says The two long U sounds, U, oo. Remember, we use the U sound when we can say it easily, but if it is hard to pronounce after another letter, then we switch to oo. U, oo. U, oo. The third sound is So let's practice all four of those sounds. U, oo, U, oo, U, oo, This third sound of U is also called the short O sound. Here are some words that use the sound. Put. SH says sh. Push. Pull. You can even add suffixes. Pudding. Pushing. Full. Bullet. Bush. Bull. Bully. Remember that a Y at the end of a longer word usually has a long E sound. One of the most common places that this third sound of U is used is the suffix full. Cheerful. Careful. EA says E in this word. Fearful. Hopeful. Helpful. IGH has the long I sound, and the GH is silent, as covered in a previous video. Insightful. AR says R. Harmful. Hateful. Grateful. IND usually has a long I sound. Mindful. Useful. You can see that learning to recognize suffixes at the end of words makes reading longer words much easier. Besides the suffix full, you can sometimes add the suffix ly to get fully, carefully, helpfully, cheerfully, willfully. AI says A, painfully. TH in this word has its first sound of f, thankfully. Here are some words that use the short U sound, even though they look like they would rhyme with pull and full. Dull. Skull. Hull. Dully, so we can add a suffix. Skulls. Again, most of the time the words with ULL will have the third sound of but these are some of the words where it has the short sound of If you found this useful, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. we're going to cover the sounds of EW, TCH, and DGE. EW has the sound oo, 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 do, new, pew. Notice in this word, we use the U sound rather than the oo. So just like the long U has two sounds, U and oo, and we use the U sound when it's easy to say and the oo sound when it is hard to say, it's the same with the EW sound here. So in most of these words, it's too hard to say U, so we say oo. But pew is one where we can have the Y sound in it. Crew, brew. CH says ch in this word. Chew, stew, strewn. TH in this word says through. Screw. We can add suffixes and prefixes to words with EW without it changing the sound. Newly. ER says fewer. We can add a prefix. Renew. Here's a name, Lewis. Here's the suffix ed, which has three sounds. Ed, d, and t. In this word, it will use the d sound. Brood. PH says nephew. This word has two suffixes. Sewers. Newest. Here are some words that have EW where it does not say oo. Here we have a prefix re, so that would not change the sound. So here we have rewind. This is the word sow, and this is sown. But generally, EW will have the sound of oo or sometimes u. TCH is how the sound of ch is spelled after a short vowel sound. So here we have ch. In all these words, we have a short vowel sound. So catch. Notice the T is silent. I like to think of the T as a shield protecting the CH, which is scared of short vowels. Catch. Here we have an E. We want a short vowel sound. CH is scared of it, so it uses the letter T like a shield. The T doesn't make a sound itself, it just protects the CH from the short vowel sound. Sketch, clutch, twitch, batch, itch, patch, match. We can add suffixes. Itchy, catching, pitcher. Just like on the previous slide where the CH was scared of the short vowel sound, I like to think that the GE is scared of a short vowel sound and uses the letter D as a shield. In addition, we need the letter D to keep the short vowel sound. For example, if I have this word here, this E only has one letter between it and a vowel. That means this E most of the time will be a silent E and make the vowel change to its long sound. So this word would be doge. We don't end English words in the letter J. So if the last sound of a word is J, we use GE instead of a J. But if we want to have a short vowel sound, we need to add a letter D. So adding the D means we have two letters between the E and the O, which means the silent E does not change the O. It only changes the G to a J. Dodge, bridge, badge, edge, judge. Notice all these words have short vowel sounds because the D acts as a shield to protect the GE from the short vowel sound. Ledge, ridge, fridge, nudge, fudge. Fudge is a type of chocolate dessert. Lodge. Now, if we want to add a suffix and the suffix starts with the letter E, then we are going to drop one of the E's. For example, here we have judge. We want to add ed to make it past tense. Notice our new word has one E. We don't have an E here and an E here. We drop one of them. So judged. Badge plus becomes badger with one E. Edge plus ed becomes edged, just one E. Pledge plus ed becomes pledged. So in all these words, when the root ends with the letter E and our suffix starts with an E, we add the suffix, but we drop one of the E's. If you found this useful, please leave a comment and let me know. We're going to learn about the sounds of ARR and ERR together. Now, AR by itself at the end of a word or before a single consonant has the sound of R, like in car and card. However, if you have A with two R's, it usually has the long A sound, air, like in marry or married. Notice that when we switch from marry to married, the Y becomes an I before we add the ED to show its past tense. Here we have the name Harry. Carry. We change the Y to an I and add ED to turn carry into carried. Another name, Larry. Arrogant. Here is one of the few words that starts with ARR where we keep the air sound, arrogant. In the rest of these words, the A is going to schwa and say so we have arrest, arrive. Notice in both of these words, the A says and the rest of it we read as it is written. Arrival. AL at the end of a word usually says which I covered in a previous lesson. Arrived. ER at the end of a word or before a consonant says like in her and heard. Now, if you have ERR, then it says air, like error, ferret. We can even add suffixes, ferry, ferries. Notice when we go from the singular ferry, which is a type of boat, and make it plural, the Y becomes an I, and we add ES, ferries. Terror. OR says or. Territory. SH says sherry. Mary. Berry. When we go from one berry to two berries, we change the Y to an I before we add the ES. Berries. CH says ch most of the time. Cherry. Cherries. Another name, Derek. Terrific. Another name, Carrie. If you found this useful, please leave a comment and let me know.